Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to be joined today by Steve Mason, the manager of Project Wise. Steve, good to see you again. How are you?
It's good to see you.
So let's talk about this project. In case people don't know, you're taking all the water in the Rogue Valley, you're just trying to improve the irrigation, is that right?
So basically what it is, we're looking at the 3 large irrigation districts and we're trying to improve the infrastructure. They're using some of the infrastructure is well over 100 years old. We just want to try and improve that to improve the benefits for pretty much everyone here in the valley.
This is a huge project. Now, where are we at in the process?
So you're right, it's a huge project. We're talking hundreds of miles of canals that we're looking at improving. And we are during the planning phase where they're developing the preliminary engineering to determine how big the benefits could be for the project.
Okay, and obviously you guys love this kind of weather that we're getting right now. We certainly need more of it.
Absolutely.
We've been in a drought.
Yeah, we need the water desperately, and the reservoirs the last few years have been hit really, really hard because of the drought. And what WISE would do would extend the benefit of those reservoirs further by helping conserve that water as we move it around.
Okay, cities, counties, what kind of organizations are behind this project?
So right now the main board that I work with are the irrigation districts, the City of Medford, the Medford Water Commission in Jackson County, but there's larger groups beyond that, including Jackson SWCD, some of the environmental groups, and so it's broad spread support.
Okay, and what's the timeline for this thing? Obviously, I mean,
yeah,
how big is this project? Hundreds of millions? I mean, where are we looking at?
So early on, we thought it was going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 million.
Okay.
As we've narrowed down on the engineering, we've brought it down to, I'm thinking, about half of that.
Okay.
We're in the middle of the engineering and environmental process. That'll take us through the beginning of 2017. And that's a standard timeline. There's a public scoping in that. People
Sure.
get to come in and participate. And so we're early on in that process. The cost estimates that the engineers produce are the next thing they're going to give us.
Okay, interesting. All right, very good. We're going to take a quick break.
Sure.
Not much more in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Steve Mason, the manager of Project Wise. So, Steve, why is this project so critical to the Rogue Valley?
So agriculture is a huge part of our local economy. It's one of the biggest economies we have here, and it is something that is going to be stressed by population growth, development over in the near future, and this will help improve the productivity and the profitability of ag here and keep that as a viable economy here in the valley.
Okay, sure, certainly. So I'm not a meteorologist,
Yep.
but I know a little bit about El Nino. That means it's going to be wet, and
Yes.
we're getting this great moisture right now. We're already getting a snowpack. Does that have any effect on the project? Any reason like we don't need to do this now?
No,
Any thoughts
well,
like that?
Sometimes it will tend to let people go, oh, the water's coming back, we're going to be okay. But even in good years, this is something that can make a big difference. We're providing pressure to the farm, so you have less cost to run your sprinklers and so forth. But we do know there's dry years coming up at some point in the future. It may be next year, maybe in 5 years. But this is needed both in wet years as well as dry years to help ag stay viable.
Okay, and how much water would it save? Can you give our viewers any kind of sense of that?
The rough estimate, again, we're still early in the preliminary design, but the rough estimate is about 39,000 acre feet, which is roughly equal to the amount of water that Emigrant holds.
Okay. Thank you for giving an example on
Yes.
that. All right. Okay, and so if you were talking about the engineering you guys are in right now, and then obviously environmental impacts and all of that, public comment, when would we start moving dirt at the earliest?
So assuming everything went perfectly, both with the planning phase, which would end in 2017, there's a design and permitting phase that would take the rest of 2017. You could start in 2018 if everything went perfectly. That would require the funding package to go together. And then it's at best a 3-year construction period. You could stretch that out, but the longer you stretch out construction, the more expensive it gets. So we would look to try and get as much done as quickly as possible.
And I know it's early, and maybe these sections are mapped out where these canals will be built or anything, but would anybody, current homeowners, be affected by that?
No. Or yes is also, I mean, it's no and yes is the answer. So the idea is to stay in the existing canal right-of-ways throughout most of the area. Where we can, we will try and shorten the distance. That actually, the locations we're looking at would actually be a benefit. We would be pulling canals out of the middle of their properties, putting it along property lines, and that'd be a voluntary process. If they didn't want it to happen, the canal would stay where it was. Okay,
very good. I know the website is being worked on and will be improved, but if people want to find out more information?
Yeah, so we'll have the new website up and running hopefully sometime in January, but it's wiseproject.org.
Very good, Steve. Great to see you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Have a great day.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.